Hey guys, it's Donnie B, and you're listening to episode 24 of Eat It Up, BuffaloEat.org's own podcast and a very proud member of Audio Buffalo. Today on the show we have Ken Kerr, who is the co-owner of Bertha's Diner, located on Hertel Avenue, right next door to North Park Theater. It's kind of hidden there, and we wrote about it last year, I think, in May, and it's become, it's probably, in my opinion, the best place to get breakfast in the city. Just amazing specials. Ken and his wife Liz just have a really simple, awesome menu, and I can't say enough nice things about it. But I got to meet Ken at the Artvoice Best Of Awards, and when we met, I was like, you know what, you got to come down and do the podcast, and so he did. And we had a cool talk about the start of the restaurant, how him and his wife met in culinary school, and thoughts on Hertel Avenue, and just a bunch of other stuff. So it was a really fun talk. I know a little bit about your background, because I tried to look through Bertha's and the story that you guys have. I was shocked that you guys have only been open for maybe 5 years now, is it? Or?
We've owned the restaurant 4 years. 4 years it was in April. I think it's been some kind of... Well, it's been Bertha's, I think, since 92.
Okay.
And different owners. My wife has actually been there 10 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she was there through two owners before us.
Oh, okay. And so then you guys kind of picked it up.
Yeah, it was. It was a friend of ours. We worked together at the Hearthstone Manor. When I got out of culinary, we met at ECC in the culinary program.
Okay.
She graduated in '93. I graduated in '94, and spring of '94, she'd gotten a job at she being my wife Liz had gotten a job at the Hearthstone Manor, and I started working there. And it's funny too. So she met after I left, shortly thereafter I left for other management things, and the head chef who took over shortly thereafter, I wasn't head chef, but he was someone who owned Bertha's Diner 10 years later.
Oh, okay.
And he called her up one day and says, "Hey, you used to work for me at the Hearthstone. Would you like to come work for me at the diner I just bought from my parents on Hertel?" And we were in Riverside, and she's like, "Sure, that'd be awesome." So she started there, and he was there for about 3 years. She was there 3 years with him, and he had some issues, some demons that come up in our business. And great guy, super talented guy. I wish he had it all together, because I'd love to work with him, and
Mm-hmm.
the potential is unlimited. But it didn't work out. And he had bought the restaurant from his parents, so his parents just took it back, and they were both in their 70s, and they really couldn't do it.
Yeah.
But they thought, they'd give it a shot, and they weren't even going to bring my wife back when they took the place over. A lot of the customers said, "You got to bring Liz back. You got to bring her back." So they brought her back, and we kind of said, "Hey, when you're done, why don't you sell it to us? It's an awesome little place."
Yeah, it is. It's kind of like a little secret, hidden spot there.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys have a dedicated following, but it's kind of hidden right
It's hidden,
there.
and we're probably not doing a lot to make it more known, not as much as we should. But you read about bars in New York City that are like that. There's no sign. You got to use the back door.
Yeah.
And after a while, it becomes a cool thing to do.
Exactly. Yeah. We went to a bar where it's actually, you go into a hot dog restaurant, and there's a phone booth on the side.
Little tiny place,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, and you have to pick up the phone and ask if they have any spots, and then this secret door slides open, and there's a speakeasy behind there.
That's too cool. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
So she was there, and they had enough, and we worked out a deal.
Yeah.
And they left, and 4 years ago we took over and dove in, and it's been a blast, man.
Yeah.
I was 40 years old when we took over the place, and it was, bugging me my whole life. Why don't you do your own thing? Do your own thing. And I had friends that were successful in business and some that weren't, and I was doing all right in public service, but you want to do your own thing, I guess, and so we did it, and it was great. It's been great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And did the menu change over a lot when you guys took over, or? I mean, I'm assuming you had a lot of dedicated customers who want what they're familiar with. But what kind of changes happened?
We did a menu overhaul probably back in November of last year.
Okay.
Changed the names of a lot of things. There was a 50s theme to the diner, and I'm 45 years old. I remember the 50s through Happy Days. And I don't know about you guys, but have you ever even seen the Happy Days? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
barely,
I'm familiar
right? But you're familiar with it, So the 50s thing doesn't really click anymore. Now it's just kind of being an American diner, and that's what I want to be. So there were things, the some things were called the 57 Chevy, and we kept some of the names of the sandwiches, the James Dean and things like that.
Yeah.
But we've kind of changed it over and got rid of a lot of things that didn't work. When we bought the restaurant, it was I felt it was the low cost option on Hertel. And someone goes, let's go eat on Hertel. What's cheap?
Yeah.
There was no specials menu to speak of. There was no, there were a couple people in their 70s plugging away, and there were a lot of things that were reminiscent of what the diners were in their day that just didn't work anymore.
Yeah.
And, you move those things on and you try new things.
Yeah. Well, Hertel is like just a crazy amount of options that you can have there.
That's awesome.
It is awesome, and I unfortunately didn't really even explore it till recently. I guess that's probably the biggest thing you guys have going is that you've developed this niche of really, the only diner in that strip and offering, really good breakfast food. And
it's for everybody that misses diners. Whenever you go drive by Tim Hortons and Dunkin' Donuts and all these little places where everybody stops for coffee and a bagel now on their way to work, that those kill diners. For every spot coffee that does $1.5 million in sales, there's 3 or 4 diners that do $250,000 a year in sales that support 4 or 5 families in the area and spend all their money locally. So we're definitely one of dying breed, and we're doing all we can to keep that going. You got to keep your prices low. You got to stay competitive, and you got to sell to your market.
Yeah.
We tried some crazy things when we first got in there, and some different, not even crazy things, just some cool stuff, and just modernizing the menu a little bit. Prosciutto. I'm in North Buffalo. I can't sell prosciutto at my restaurant.
Really?
Nobody wants it. I came up with this great Benedict with prosciutto and roasted red peppers and Italian toast and some stuff, and nobody wanted it. And
and there's
but those people go to Romeo's or we're a diner. We're American diner. That's not what they come there for. That's not what they're expecting. And that's where I learned to sell to my market, not to force things down people's throat. Find out what they like, tweak it a little bit, make it interesting.
Yeah, offer them something that they can't necessarily.
Be original.
Yeah. How did you get started in the restaurant industry? How did you get going as a?
I've always cooked. Always cooked. That's something me and my wife both have in common. We've just always been kitchen people. My mother was a cook. She stayed at home mom, so there was food. There was dinner cooked every single night.
Okay.
My grandmother was a great cook. Christmas or my birthday presents were always food. I always wanted an apple pie from my grandmother. So I didn't want anything else from my grandmother. An apple pie or chili sauce or homemade food. And there were times when I was 10 years old, I'd say, look, I've had enough football. I'm going in to make cookies. And I'd go in and make cookies, and nobody cared because they got to eat cookies later. I took every home ec class and just loved to eat, loved to cook.
Wow.
And it's everybody should cook. Everybody should know how to cook. How much money would people save? Families would be healthier if parents learned how to cook.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And so it's just something that I did. Something my wife always did. She was right out of high school in the culinary program. I went into the Army right out of high school as a cook.
Oh, really?
Did 4 years in the Army as a cook.
Nice.
From anywhere from 2 people for breakfast to 2,500 people for breakfast.
That is
4,000 people for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that'll definitely get you ready for the grind and stuff like that.
You get some life skills.
I'm not sure how creative I guess the menus would be, but
yeah, there were times when there was no creativity, and you're casting a wide net. You got to please 2,500 people, so it's not a lot of cilantro, and there's not a lot of roasted garlic. So, salt, pepper, and hot sauce. That's the 3 of the 4 main food groups in the Army, I think.
Yeah.
And coffee. There's a 4th. But yeah, and Liz, my wife, cooked all through high school at different bake shops and things. She worked at Cakes of Distinction out in Hamburg, and just always cooked.
Wow.
It's in the blood. Isn't that when you ask that question? What does everybody say? They always did it.
Pretty much, yeah. It seems like I've only met a couple who just were doing something and then completely did a 360, like just realized like I hate this and like wanted to do something else. But yeah, for the most part, it's people who've had like a connection with food, like growing up, and like
it's like an addiction. It's almost
Well, and then also we get the people who were kind of like the black sheep, or like didn't want to sit down in a cube all day. Started washing dishes somewhere and just liked that late night
environment.
Yeah.
Poor bastards. It seems like almost like a novelist would say, I started out in the dish room at Franklin, and tragedy befell me shortly thereafter.
There definitely is kind of that like romantic staying out till 5 a.m. with the waiters and all that stuff,
smoking cigarettes, closed down bars.
That wasn't necessarily your path.
We used to. I remember we had great poker games in the basement of the Guarantee Building. Where Saki's, before your time, there was a restaurant called Saki's in the basement of the Guarantee Building. It was, I think, the original sushi place for the area. Kuni Sato worked there. That was when he first came to town.
Oh, okay.
It was part of the Rich's restaurants. And I had an internship kind of thing going on when I was at culinary school. My friend worked there, and I said, hey, man, just don't pay me. I just want to work. I don't want to have a schedule, kind of. I don't want to be responsible. I just want to learn this stuff. And this beautiful building, and we'd have these great poker games that, because the dining room was under the sidewalk, and there were glass sidewalk blocks, so you'd see the sun come up and people walking above you, and you'd be drunk and playing cards still. And it was, of course there was that 18-year-old kid at the side, not really involved with the older guys, but just, I can't wait to make it to the kitchen. One day I'll be on the line and I'll be able to sit at the table and play cards. I'll be shagging beers. I could see the romance.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I hearing that story, it makes me like all upset that I went the the boring business school route and everything like that. But I guess there's the ups and downs that comes with that.
The mortgage, when you pay your mortgage, that's one of the ups. That's a huge up.
When I have health insurance,
that's an up, man. Yeah. Those are great up. You didn't miss nothing.
Yeah. I guess I could just live vicariously through the people that we interviewed.
Did you ever work a restaurant anywhere?
No, I didn't. Honestly, like, food love was like a recent thing. Like in the last 4 years is when I stopped being like a chicken finger eating guy and finally started.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, were you always an adventurous eater, or?
Yeah. I've growing up, we didn't eat. I never saw hot sauce except on chicken wings growing up.
Yeah.
So I didn't. But once I got in the Army and met people from all over the country and all over the world, I spent 2.5 years living in northern Italy when I was in the Army.
Really?
So I got to eat a ton of stuff over there, about 20 minutes north of Venice. So it was heaven, and it was like there's this whole new world of food, and it was delicious. And it wasn't like I gotta try stuff because it doesn't smell good and I'm gonna force myself. It wasn't like I was in some Soviet bloc nation. Those pig intestines, I don't know. It was pizza margaritas and or up north some polenta and ragu and just heavenly food. Yeah, we'll eat just about anything.
Yeah, that was living in Italy like one of the things that really even just pushed your food love to like level?
It told me that I have to be more than a pedestrian when it comes to food. You have to branch out. You got to taste great stuff. It's not expensive to eat great food. You don't have to travel. If Buffalo's got great restaurants. People clamor that we need this, we need that. Like, I mean, if you haven't eaten at every place on Hertel, then don't talk about what we don't have, because you still got a long way to go.
Yeah, I mean, we're slowly making our way down Hertel. Like, I haven't even skimmed the surface. I think we've maybe had 6 or 7 reviews up from that stretch, but like that's like
the places. There's been a lot of new places opening. So
yeah. I see you're at Mesque every now and then. I'm dying. I'm dying to hit that up. I still haven't.
Great place, great food.
Yeah.
Those guys do it right.
Is there like a kind of like a community of the Hertel restaurants? Like, I mean, it seems like it's like Allentown and Elmwood seem like downtown and not so much of a neighborhoody vibe, but kind of like a, I don't know what it is. But when I go to Hertel, it seems like more of a neighborhood. It seems like
more of a fan. Well, there's longevity.
Yeah.
I mean, you have Tommy Lombardo, who's been on the street for 37 years.
Yeah.
Mesque is new, but Mike Cristiano, with Left Bank for how many years now?
Mm-hmm.
There's Costas has been. There's a lot of long standing places. I'm new. I don't know if it's new, and I don't really mix with the other people because I'm the guy that gets up at 5 a.m.
Yeah, you're kind of the.
If I like when I go to Lombardo's for dinner, I'm the first. Me and my wife are the first people there, where the bartender's wiping off the bar, and it's 5 o'clock, and so we don't get to mix too much. Everybody's nice. There's not a lot of nasty competition. I stay out of the politics of it, so I don't know if there's fights in that way. But I don't think I had a place in it too. I was new. I think you've got people that are invested with property. I'm not a property owner on the street. I'm definitely a stakeholder with the business, but I think I would have waited a few more years before I got too involved in that stuff. Just let the people who are really committed and have their life invested in the street be the main players. Learn what they're doing and get involved. But we weren't there long enough.
I see. I mean, the other restaurant owners and cooks that I've had down here are all like more, I guess, like dinner service and things like that. I mean, there's definitely a whole different feel to a restaurant that's open so early in the day. I mean, your hours are basically, it's what, like 6 to 1?
Well, we're 7 to 1:30 during the week and 8 to 1 on Sunday. Yeah, we started out 5:30 to 2. 5:30, 7 days a week till 2. And this was, before the big recession, And there was just, guys were working, carpenters were getting up before dawn. They'd come in, plan their day so that as soon as it was dawn, they could pick up their guys and start working and try to get 12, 14 hours in a day. The economy dried up, unemployment went up, and disposable dollars went away, and that business dried up. We've actually grown the business during the recession, but we were able to shrink the hours. We didn't have the people coming in early, so we closed. We just eliminated those costs, those operational costs, eliminated those hours, and just brought more people in during the hours we were open, and it worked out well. What I usually say is, like, a restaurant has to be really good if they make it so that you have to go out of your way to eat there. And for me, I'm sure plenty of people have no problem getting up at 8 o'clock to go have food, but I'm like not a morning person whatsoever. And so I was like, God damn, only open to 1. So like, I was like, it has to be good though, because like if people are like setting an alarm specifically so they can go eat your food, like it's fun. It's nice to know people do that, and they do. We are a legitimate mom and pop shop, and it's we want to work together. Me and my wife want to walk in the door together and walk out the door together. We want to have our hands on every plate that goes through the door. We take it seriously that everything we do, every table we wipe off, every dish we clean, everything we slice ends up with somebody putting something in their mouth. Everything is related to someone putting something in their mouth, and it's a very serious responsibility. And I tell my young kids this: you can never for a minute think you could half wipe something off or something, because something's going to end up in someone's mouth, and you got to be serious about that.
Oh yeah.
And we're committed to that, and I don't even know what the hell I'm talking about now.
No, that makes sense.
What were we talking about?
We're talking about, I guess, like, I was saying how it's almost that you have do you feel that you have a customer base that you can kind of make them work kind of when you want it to?
The mom and pop thing. Yeah. It's tough. It is tougher that way because we don't want to split the hours up. The restaurant should be open more. It deserves it. We can only do so much with the space we have and the small grill we have. The 40 seats we have. It should be open. We're open, I think, 39 hours a week. You look at the recent Best of Buffalo, the other diners we're up against: Pano's, The Town, Lake Effect, Amy's, and Bertha's. I think they're all open 60 hours a week or something like that.
And some like 80, 24.
Yeah, we're open. We're 44 seats. We're open 39 hours a week. And we could make a lot more money and just be a lot unhealthier, be a lot more miserable. And the dream we wanted is going in together and leaving together. And some people say you should be open more. We never get to see it. I said, don't get mad, just go eat somewhere else. I mean, I'm not responsible for you when I'm closed. And but in the future, I think that obviously there's this transition that I think that we'll see the place open more, and it'd be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I would enjoy that, but
it should be open more. It's.
But I mean, it's nice that you have that you can But you can set those rules for yourself and still be successful.
You can't chase every penny. You're not. Yeah. You see people that chase every penny. Their restaurants are dirty.
Yeah.
They're unhappy. Their staff is unhappy. There's no joy. I've had 4 call-ins in 4 years, 3 months. We've owned a restaurant. We've had 4 call-ins.
Wow.
And 3 were in the first year or so. They're happy. Our staff is happy to work there.
Nice.
You know, so if you create a good environment, the customers are happy to eat there. It's a hard place to eat. You say the hours suck. You sit on top of each other. You know, I strive to be as popular as Bistro Europa someday because they're tiny. They're super tiny, and everybody like me. I love that place, man. I'll sit on someone's shoulders to eat there.
Steve was sitting in your seat yesterday. We just recorded a podcast with him.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That guy's a talented guy. Wow, I love that place.
And we were talking to him about the same thing. Like he told me that he loses it when he has to turn away people at the door. Like, do you guys have that problem? Like
every I'm assuming like Sunday we lose people. You know, we have one table that seats more than 4 people. I have one table that seats more than 4 people. And if I just sat at a table of 5 and another table of 5 comes up, I'm like, I won't have a table of 5 for 45 minutes at the earliest. Yeah. So you know, it is and me and my wife, you know, you have to give yourself these pep talks every now and then. It's like when you're full, when every seat in your restaurant is full, and people are walking away, where's the anger from?
Yeah,
you're hitting the ball out of the park. Are you mad that you're not hitting 2 at a time out of the park?
Yeah,
you know, you're doing everything you can. If every seat's full, and even though people turn away, they come back the next week, then you know you're not happy for those people, but I'm not angry that I'm losing the business because I don't want to chase every penny, and I'm at a full restaurant. You know, you eat a lot of places, man. You don't see a lot of full restaurants.
No, I mean, and that's kind of our standard. Like, if we go somewhere and it's like hard to get there or things like that, like I'm like, oh shit, like,
yeah,
this is serious. Like
absolutely.
this
worth it.
Yeah, there's a reason why this place is packed every time we go here. And when we went last time, I mean, it was bumping. We went there and it was kind of later. It was like getting close to closing time.
Usually Sundays and Saturday afternoons now. We've been, you know, we're hitting a wait from 10 o'clock on. It's kind of cool.
And I mean, and that happens because, I mean, the food's good. And I tell everybody, like, if anyone's ever asked me for, like, restaurant places or, like, breakfast places, I'm like, dude, Bertha's. Like, I've only been there twice, but, like, it's
nice. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And you know how I first found out about it is I was helping Buffalo Spree pick their winners the one year, and I think one of them was breakfast specials. Mm-hmm. And it was like a panelist, like let's say 10 of us, and I hadn't heard of Bertha's at the time, and like 3 of the people are like, no, their breakfast specials are the best, and that's kind of what I associate. Like you guys have obviously a standard menu and everything, right, but you kind of have a big special menu that changes
weekends. Yeah, we do a list of specials every weekend, and you know we try to take familiar ingredients and put a different twist on it, and not really. I mean, I'm kind of really just doing what we do when we close the doors. When the civilians leave and the cooks and the servers are to themselves with the food and what we put on our plates. And, you know, we would eat at the end of the day. I'm like, this is delicious. And I was like, why are we selling this? You know, this is, you know, when you take poached eggs and put them on hash with hollandaise sauce on top and hit it with some sriracha. It just, there's a marriage made there. There's a dance going on that is beautiful, and we had to share that with people, and we sell just tons of that kind of stuff now. And it's kind of like, you know, it's the back of the house dining in a way. It's a, you know, back of the house cuisine, I guess.
Yeah,
would be a way to put it.
I guess that's kind of where you can use some of that creative juices, I guess, to do, you know, some different things and things like that.
Some of the stuff, you know, like the Backwoods Benedict that is the greatest picture ever. I mean, really, I've got to blow that up just as big as I can and just put it on a wall. But that's just, you know, that's how guys would eat in the Army. You know, is they just throw everything on a plate covered with sausage gravy. You know, and you know, that was just like, you know, they loved it. I hate sausage gravy. I can't stand it. I make it. I can't stand it. I don't know how you guys eat it. Anybody eats it. People love it, and I'm glad they do, but it's kind of, I don't enjoy it at all. But people just throw it on top of everything, so we kind of try to find a way to present it. You know, our waffles are pretty good, so yeah, it worked out good.
I mean, I was going to ask, like, is there any connection to diner American food that you had that made you I mean, I'm assuming you had you were kind of thinking about what kind of restaurant you would go into. Is there anything about that food that appealed to you?
It would be a cook in the Army, I mean, breakfast was the big meal. You did lunch and dinner, but breakfast was the big thing where you're trying to load guys up with 1,500 calories to start, give them half the calories for the day or whatever. It was serious business in the Army, and I worked at places where I not only do you feed these guys every day, but then you go sleep and hang out with them at night and share the room with them. And then so you had to do it right and do it good, or you get your ass kicked. Somebody's going to say something to you. If it wasn't right, somebody's going to say something. Some guy with an accent from somewhere was going to get up your ass about it.
I didn't even think about the stakes that you were in as the chef or the cook.
Just like now, I mean, I have to look at you come into my place. I got to look at you in the eye when you pay your bill. I'm not sitting in an office in Florida or like the guys from Spot in Canada or Saudi Arabia. I'm in, right there. Thank you for coming in. I'm really glad you had choices today and you chose us.
Yeah.
So that's you got to if you think about that every single day, every single person that pays, you got to look them in the eye. It makes you better.
Wow, yeah.
And,
I never thought about that.
Makes you want to make specials that people remember you with, and make the familiar unfamiliar. And, salsa verde is our big thing now. We're kind of introducing North Buffalo to that, and that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Have you noticed, like, over the years? I mean, because I guess, like, when we started our blog, it's 2009-ish. And, since then, like, foodie culture and everything has kind of grown in the city. Have you noticed, like, in the last couple of years, like, maybe your customers being more adventurous or not?
They're
so
younger.
Much?
Our customers are younger. That was part of our turnover. We were the cheap restaurant. As we've gotten more creative with the specials, we're seeing younger people didn't used to eat creatively. It was McDonald's. It was stuff. Now they're coming around.
Yeah.
Our crowd was older. It's definitely younger now, which means that they eat later too, which means I should be open later in the day. But yeah, it's definitely there's a vibe happening now, and I don't know if it's part of the economy picking up where people have money now.
Yeah,
people are feeling good, so now they're going out to eat. I know the restaurant sector is doing well as far as overall. It's coming back pretty quick.
Yeah.
Certain parts of it, the Applebee's are still lagging behind the mom and pops, but there's growth in our industry, and that's great.
Yeah. I mean, there's been more new restaurants in like the last 2 years that I can even remember, and it seems like there's more people willing to take risks and do other things too. But
I think that's part of any recession. People lose their jobs and they go, well, I might as well chase my dream now.
Yeah,
I read about that every 2 years in Wall Street Journal. They talk about how as people when every recession, people go, well, I'll sell the house, so let's go open a restaurant. We want to be caterers or t-shirt makers or whatever it is. Urban farmers.
Urban farming, dude. Urban farming's like blowing up in Buffalo. The West Side, even like that place.
I love it. I love it.
Do you guys try to get involved with any of that stuff? As far as
we don't have time.
I meant like sourcing too or anything like that, or
we've always tried to buy local. I mean, I don't. Before it was big to say you bought local.
Or like hip and chic and all.
Yeah, I mean, we always try to buy as much as we can local. We use Gino's Bakery and Luigi's and Chimay's, wherever we can get it local. I was born in the city. I was raised in the city, educated in the city. I still live in the city. I want to buy everything I can in the city. I'm not going to make a big point of it, but if you know me, I'm all about local because I hate places that aren't local because I think they ruin the American dream. But I want to use as much local as I can.
Yeah, that's good. I mean,
farmers markets if we can. Just however, the closer you can get it from you, the better it's going to be anyways.
Yeah, and you can develop that relationship. The guy who's making your bread or giving you their vegetables and stuff like that.
I'm talking to one of our guys cooks who I'm training to do extra prep, and I'm talking to him about the bread that we use for French bread, and I've seen how I went down to Gino's and talked to the baker there and said, this is what I want, this is what I'm getting now from someone else, and this is why I don't like it. Can you do it like this? He's like, no problem. And now it's like custom made. It's no big deal, to him. He's like, hey man, I got a guy a block and a half away who's ordering so many loaves a week off me. I love it.
Yeah.
And I didn't have to do anything extra, just change a little, add a little time to proofing or something, and and I think that's what doing shopping local does. It allows you to work with someone, get what you really want, paying more than a fair price, keeping the money local. And those guys come down to my place and eat, and I love that too. We share the money. It's a great thing.
Yeah. I mean, they always say like if you spend $1 into like a local business, it goes 5 times as far as if you did to like a national chain or whatever.
I've never seen the owner of Spot Coffee in any of the shops on Hertel. I've spent thousands of dollars on furniture and books and T-shirts and meals. I love shopping on Hertel and Elm, but I've to this day never seen the owner of Spot on Hertel. Yeah. Maybe the day they opened, shaking hands with the mayor, handing him a check or something. But since then, I've never seen him shopping on Hertel.
Yeah. Well, they opened fairly recently, right?
November.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of essentially somewhat of a competitor, I guess you could say. I mean,
yeah, I guess
just in terms
they
of
create foot traffic. They do. I mean, I'd like to sell those people walking out of there with a cup of coffee to go. I'd like to sell those. I'd like them to come to the local veteran-owned diner a half a block away and buy that for me for 70 cents cheaper, and it was produced from McCullough Coffee downtown. I'd like to see them buy at me. So they're a competitor, but they also create foot traffic. Mm-hmm. I think they've brought traffic to the area. They've helped businesses. Maybe not mine as much as the bookstores and the furniture shops. And those are great for them because as those people grow and do well, we'll all do well. And restaurants are a critical mass thing. The more you have, the better it is for all of us. Yeah. And competition makes you stronger.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You kind of alluded to it earlier about a transition. I don't want you to give away specifics if you don't have any specifics, but when I was looking on the site the other day for specials, I saw a little note about that you guys were interested in selling the restaurant. That's correct?
We've been working on that. That note's been on the website. June 16th, it'll be a year.
Oh wow! Yeah, I'm way behind.
Yeah, we've kind of had a low key search for a new owner going on. We think we found somebody. The cards are all falling into place, and shortly, hopefully, they'll be into place, and there'll be a new owner without any changes really that anybody should notice.
Nice.
Maybe 1 or 2 new faces. Most of all the old faces, probably maybe a lot of me and Liz still.
Just kind of helping the transition, or
who knows how long we'll stay on. It's always kind of weird, but we love the place. It's I've had a health issue going on for a few years now, and it I talked about in the foodie article that we were having conversations. It was like, man, if my health wasn't like this, we could have been doing this, and then it was like, what? That's ridiculous. It's if I wasn't getting up every morning 7 days a week and working 70 hours, maybe I'd feel better. And and that's really, you have a few friends die around the same your age as yours, and you go, really, what am I doing? We don't have to work as hard as we are. We don't have to be at work as much as we are. We don't have to be removed from our family life as much as we are. So why are we doing that?
Yeah.
Our dream came true. The restaurant is a success. We love working together. We won the lottery while we were there. We would never have won if we weren't there. So everything's come true for us. Now let's let somebody else have their dream come true. We're not selfish people. How much is enough?
Yeah. So was that important that you found the right person, not just from a business standpoint, but for somebody who would continue the spirit of the place? Or?
I think we wanted, when you buy a diner, when you take a business over, you think numbers, but when you operate it and you become involved with the customer, especially a diner where probably 80% of your business is regulars.
Yeah.
And you become involved in their lives, and you want to see them still taken care of after you leave. So it was important for us to find somebody who was we thought would take care of the customers, somebody who was local. The person we're dealing with right now is 3 blocks away. He's a North Buffalo person. We want someone who would keep the staff if they could.
Yeah.
And we felt that if it's successful, we want, why change it? And if, we want to find someone who wouldn't change it. It's a lot to ask for someone to give you their money and say we like this, but we found someone, who did it. We talked to a lot of people.
Oh yeah. Was there like a significant amount of interest, or?
We talked to probably 25 different groups. I mean, over a year's time, some for just an hour, some we spent, 9-10 hours with negotiations and things, and things didn't work out. It's a big deal.
So I don't know how the kitchen works, but I'm assuming your wife is like kind of the head chef.
She's pretty much now. Yeah, she does. she does all the heavy duty cooking on the weekends. I was pretty much the cook most of the time when we first started out.
Okay.
When I got sick, I just couldn't do it anymore. So she's taking on the weekends. During the week, I cook. She cooks. We kind of share the duties. She makes all the soups. I do the banana breads. I do the stuffed peppers. She makes the hash because she was doing that before I got there, and she's great at it.
It is delicious.
We were doing, we used to do desserts, and we stopped doing desserts because they weren't selling, and we didn't think we were getting a fair price for what we made great desserts, and we just we're just not getting enough. And when they wouldn't, you'd sell 2 pieces of a pie and get rid of the rest. You're like, come on. So we might get back into that, but I would do the desserts, and that changed when we bought the place. I thought I would do soups, she would do desserts.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of benefit of being married to someone with a culinary education is you can whatever you want to do. You do this, you do that. There's no competition between us. We respect each other's work ethic and talents, and so it works good.
Well, I guess what I was worried about is do you guys have like your secret recipes that I would have to get passed on?
Well, I mean, you buy the restaurant. We're going to make sure you're successful. It ain't Bertha's without the best hash in the city of Buffalo. I want to see them. I want to see somebody's dream come true. I'm not going to handicap them and handcuff them. So they're going to get the recipes, and I'm showing a guy today how to make the blueberry banana bread the way we make it.
Nice. That was delicious, by the way.
The grilled blueberry banana bread. Isn't it crazy? Just something simple
awesome.
like that. We invented the breakfast appetizer and the $11 breakfast sandwich.
I'm glad you because I don't think we ordered it, and you were like, you got to try this, and I was like, thank God he brought this over.
It's just so good. It was like your first Krispy Kreme donut. First hot Krispy Kreme donut. It's like, wow, this is just different than I thought it would be.
Going right down when they had that Walden location.
Yep, you're right.
The
You
little
go there,
assembly
you
line.
Stupid line to buy a donut, and then the Atkins diet came in and just crushed them. But that was the worst time, The Atkins diet just come in and just swept them away. Yeah, like releasing the Kraken. It just came through the town and smashed all the Krispy Kremes into the sea.
Oh man, I forgot about that place that was even there for the 4 years.
And then it became a vitamin store.
Yeah,
it's a vitamin store now.
Well, the one on Walden's like the gigantic Mighty Taco now too.
Oh yeah, that one, it was like
yeah.
They had it going on.
Yeah,
a couple weeks.
So I mean, have you even guys considered what you would do post-Bertha's or?
We don't know. Sometimes we think we'd like to stay involved in Bertha's because we love to cook.
Yeah. I mean, do you guys cook at home a lot as well, or
when we can? Yeah, we love cooking at home. Our kitchen's so much bigger at home than it is at Bertha's. You've seen Bertha's kitchen; it's no fun to cook in. That's the mosh pit. You're just banging into everything, trying to get it done. At home, it's nice. We like to cook at home. We used to do wedding cakes and stuff before we bought the diner. We'll cook at home, and I don't know. The future's wide open.
It's exciting.
It is exciting. It's exciting. My wife thinks she's nervous because she likes just to have a place to go to work every day. Her family works. When they get a job, they stay forever. But she'll after about 2 weeks, I think she's going to thank me.
Well, I hope the transition goes as smooth as possible, and I want to say thank you for coming down here.
This is a blast, man.
I'm very grateful that you did, and thank you for doing the foodie article too. That came out really well, and it's posting tomorrow, but people will hear this in I think early July. So,
I have a question. What do you eat everywhere? You eat in the whole area. Yeah. And the question that always bugs me the big statement, Buffalo needs this and the food scene needs that. What do you think this food scene needs?
I mean, it's hard to label it as a cuisine because for a long time people were saying it needs a better it needs an Ethiopian restaurant. Now there's 3 that are open, and I would love to see restaurants or maybe even shops that specialize in one thing and make it really, really well. I would love to see just a macaroon shop. I would love to see artisanal, maybe not even artisanal, but just really specialty shops. I'd love to see more ethnic cuisine as far as Asian, maybe dim sum and things like that. But I mean, American food, Buffalo has hand down. We don't need to improve on the American cuisine. I like what Mike A's doing with the new restaurant downtown. I'd like to see people trying some really crazy stuff. But I mean, Otherwise, I mean, I still have a wish list of like 130 restaurants that I haven't eaten in Buffalo yet.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
130.
And we've been doing this for 3.5 years now, and we've on our site we've had about 320 restaurants, and I still have another 130 that I haven't tried that I still want to.
That's a lot of write-offs.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, and so. I mean, for me, I consider myself new. If I've been doing this for 20 years, maybe I could see myself wishing there was more new stuff going on, but...
Have you found any hidden gems? Because I need some new places.
You need some new places?
I'm about to be out in the world again. You know, I'll have more than one night a week to go out and eat, and a couple more in a month or so.
Yeah. You know what? A lot of our stuff goes based on recommendations because like people send us places we need to go to and things like that. My favorite wing place is maybe, I think, my most hidden, and that's 9/11 Tavern in South Buffalo.
Where's it at? On Abbott or?
It's right off of South Park, right? Yeah. Kind of right down the street from the Sorrento plant.
Okay.
I forgot the name of the street. It's called 9/11 because it was two houses that were 9 and 11, and they just put the houses together and made this bar. And then, 9/11 happens, and like everyone kind of associates something different. But this place has been open since like the mid 80s. But the owner makes their own hot sauce from scratch. Like literally, there's no Franks involved. Like everything,
great.
And it's tangy and it's spicy and it's different. And they put some type of cheese flakes on it too, and so it melts a little bit, and it is.
I'm gonna try the 9/11.
Yeah, if you want like a not a healthy meal, if you want to go to town on some chicken wings, like, and everyone, everyone has their favorite chicken wing place, but this is the only one I found that's doing something like different.
Is that also your favorite kind of not so healthy treat place?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
What's your most like? I love Vargas's. You've been to Vargas's?
I haven't yet. No.
Used to be at Hudson and West. Now it's on Niagara Street. Used to be Jenny's, I think it was called, near Massachusetts.
Okay.
The best roast pork sandwich, just unbelievable. When it was at Hudson and West, there were sanitation issues. I went there, and one time there was a gas lawnmower in the dining room, and it was used that morning, and not wiped off or nothing, and nobody cared.
Yeah.
And the place was packed, and they got the best pork. It's like being in someone's garage almost.
Is it like a Puerto Rican?
It's Puerto Rican food. Yeah.
Okay.
Just fantastic food.
Oh, man.
Fantastic. Vargas on Niagara. That's my only recommendation.
Yeah.
That's my hidden gem.
My other one is on Hertel. It's a Shish Kebab Express.
Across from Lombardo's.
Yeah. And they have what is it? The Samoon roll, which is like that like football looking baguette roll that they have. And their beef shawarma is...
get there. I thought you were going to say Bertha's.
A
little place next to North Park Theater, Bertha's Diner. Open Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Yeah, well, they can see our number one food porn of 2011.
There you go.
Because that picture, I don't think we've ever had a reaction to any picture we've posted that we did for that.
It should be a T-shirt. I should license that from you, so you can make some money and do a T-shirt with that on a T-shirt and just be like, really, you're not eating this? What did you eat for breakfast?
Wasn't this?
If you didn't have this for breakfast,
yeah,
that'd be a good T-shirt.
But,
do that. This was a blast.
Yeah, I'm glad you came down, man. Well,
I got lucky. I found a parking spot right at the end of the street.
Nice.
I'm warning whoever's next. Be ready to find a parking spot. I was on the way here going, this is Allentown, right?
Yeah, Allentown's not the easiest to find a spot, but I'm glad you did. I'm glad you came here. So thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.